who will earn MVP and dominate the league conversation. We've got Dennis Scott, Sam Mitchell, and Steve Smith. So what's got your attention?
I think for me it's the Battle of LA. Who's the best player in LA? Whose house is it? The hallway series going to be interesting.
Well, I don't know about the West Coast, Steve, but I know the East Coast. You got the Milwaukee Bucks, the Philadelphia 76ers sitting at the top. But I'm interested to see the young teams, Chicago Bulls, Atlanta Hawks, and the Orlando Magic. Will they make a run?
And guys, they're talking about the Wild Wild West, rightfully so, but I'm going to stay in the Midwest. The Joker and the Nuggets, they were just a few free throws away from being in the Western Conference Finals.
Over the next hour, we'll crisscross the country, getting you set for every possible storyline. And it starts right now. Is the Golden Dynasty over? Will Russ and Harden be able to play nicely together? All that and more. Forecasting the storylines that will have us talking for the next 9 months. Welcome to our esteemed panel here. Let's start with the storyline that had us captivated over the summer. All these star duos teaming up. The P word is out there. Be careful, Sam. We're talking about parity. With these dynamic duos, 3D, is this good, bad, indifferent? How does this impact the league?
I think it's great for the league because the last 4 or 5 years, guys, we've been talking about guys coming together, the three guys and three amigos and all that kind of stuff. Now we're seeing some GMs take advantage of, do I like my players? Are my superstars happy? So to see Russell Westbrook, to be in Houston now, Smitty, to see those two guys, him and Harden, I think it's great for the NBA.
Yeah, it is, and I think it gives us, as analysts and been around the game, we always had history from guys playing for a team, and we can kind of forecast what they were going to be next year. So many guys and superstars, Sam, we all been around the league. I haven't seen so many MVP candidates move around, and now for us to see how's that going to fit, what these coaches going to do with these players, I think is intriguing storylines.
For me, guys, everything has changed. When the Toronto Raptors won the NBA championship with one superstar, not two, not three, it changed everything because now you got owners and GMs sitting back saying, okay, if we can get the right guy and build a complete team from 1 to 15 around that guy, we got a chance to compete and win. So I think a lot more pressure on a lot of teams this year and a lot of coaches because these owners sitting there saying the Toronto Raptors won the NBA championship with one superstar. And now we have two. It brings everybody into the mix. I'm excited about this year.
Well, with so much player movement over the summer, we know it's a long season, but things change quickly over the course of an NBA season. So, Sam, let's start with that idea here. With Kawhi going and teaming up with Paul George on a team that made the playoffs last year, how much time is it going to take a team like the Clippers and a team like the Lakers, who had an Anthony Davis, to gain the necessary chemistry?
It normally would take a while, but in this case, I don't think so, Jared, for this point. You look at the players around Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They're all ancillary players. There's no other superstars on that team or star players like Dennis and I was talking about in the green room. All these players for the Clippers now are role players, and they understand their role. Now you're bringing in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, the two superstars, so everybody's just going to fit around those two guys. Doc Rivers smart. He's going to put the ball in those guys' hands. You're going to play off those two guys. And the thing that I love about this Clipper team, it really is going to come together quickly. They got a championship coach in Doc Rivers. They got a bunch of guys who know who they are and what they are. And you just brought in two studs that play both ends of the floor. The Clippers are for real.
Well, for me, guys, it's understanding that Doc Rivers realized he has two unselfish superstars, and I think that's something we miss out on. Then you got a guy like Lou Williamson come off the bench and carry the team for quarters at a time. That's going to help Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Oh, did we talk about load management yet? Well, we know both of those guys are going to miss some games, so the Clippers bench is deep enough, and we all can say Doc Rivers will figure it out.
Well, let's get into that. How will load management, particularly considering that a team just load managed their way to a title in Toronto, how will that impact how these duos are essentially managed with their playing time?
To Sam and 3D's point for me is you go back to the Clippers, and I'm excited if I'm Doc Rivers and that coaching staff because even with load management, I have an identity. I can go out there and win games and not shoot well. I have some guys that can defend. They were a good defensive team last year with Patrick Beverley, Montrezl Harrell, and all those young guys who bought in the defense. Now you bring in two guys that are 6'8", 6'9", long, 4-time defensive player, all defensive team for
Yep.
Paul George.
Yep.
I think 5 times for Kawhi Leonard, 2-time defensive player of the year. I can win a game on a defensive end, and I got guys who like to play defense. I think their identity is already set.
League-wide, will we see, Sam, more or less load management than last season?
I think we're going to see more, but this is the problem. If you're in the Western Conference, can you afford to let your superstars miss too many games because of rest? I mean, you look at the Western Conference from top to bottom, there are no easy wins. Other than when you think about Memphis, maybe Minnesota, you look at everybody in the West, you can get beat any night. So it's going to be intriguing for me to watch how these coaches, how do you keep guys minutes low, but still win enough games? Because finishing in the top 4 in the West is going to be crucial. You need that first round home court in the playoffs at home.
So the dynamic duos and how they will be managed throughout the season, the biggest topic. Let's move to